Greetings, Batprince here, and today Sam gonna read me a story.
Try to.
Gonna read me some C14 Dating.
Yeah, I'll probably stumble on my words, but it happens.
Try it. Read me bedtime story. Go on.
Okay. I like your shirt.
Yeah?
Thought. Alright, would you like to turn off the mini game? Ooh! To be able to complete your journey. What should I do?
Leave them on. Go ahead. Any games are turned on. You just look anywhere there and look at stories and
Okay. And here's an alternative font. Okay. Ooh. Is this it? I'll click again.
Have you never played a VN before?
No.
Yeah, you click to progress the
Right. Is this it? Says Melissa. I glanced at my map, which highlighted road names along with a star next to my destination. After comparing, I came to the conclusion this wasn't the place, but I was close. The village, what's that word?
I don't know. It's the
Corinne's-
village. It's the village name. Just call it whatever you want.
Corinne's was clustered by the Meuse River, and I paused to admire the pretty gardens surrounding the houses. I don't see much gardens, but that's okay. I was oddly calm despite being over 5,000 miles from my Californian home. The reality of being in another country had yet to sink in. Up ahead, there was a clearing separated from the road by a fence. On the other side, a few tents were stationed behind a two-story building. I spotted an opening chained gate with a billboard in front of the driveway. It said, Grotte de Calen Entre.
But how you put on an accent for that? You don't even know what it means.
I don't know. That's the place.
Is it?
Apparently. Ooh, a lady. A familiar figure stood by the entrance. She was currently talking to a middle-aged man. When she saw me, she gave me a cheerful wave as I ran up to her. Cheryl. Is that Sherry?
Cherie.
Cherie.
There's that accent again.
Cherie. With one hand on my bag handle, I exchanged a half embrace with my professor. Do you want to read the other person, or should I
Oh,
just...
you read me a story.
Cherie, I didn't know you already arrived. If you called me, I would have come and picked you up at the train station. Or she looks a bit nervous. Me, you mentioned that the cave wasn't far, so I wanted to soak in the scenery and enjoy the sights. Cherie, I'm glad you made it safely. Was it difficult taking the train? Me, nope. Well, I did try to practice my French at the ticket station until the person said that he could speak English. He pointed me in the right direction. Because, her face is all squished. Cherie. What?
You're gonna do that with all the names
Yeah.
of all... No, don't.
No.
Just put on a different voice.
No.
Go. I'm a
Okay.
little old lady.
At least you'll be able to brush up on your French. You'll find it's not difficult. Different from Spanish. You'll catch on quickly. I groaned inwardly. My Spanish wasn't the most good, but I mentioned it in my interview when discussing how I'd cope with staying in Belgium without knowing French. What are you doing?
Hold on. Let's see if we can... Never mind.
I glanced around, then turned to Cherie. That's her name, Cherie.
Cherie.
Me. Where's Paige? Didn't she say she would be arriving early today? Or is that tomorrow? I got an email from her yesterday saying there was a family emergency. She won't be able to participate this summer. I failed to hide my disappointment. Paige was the other student from my university planning to attend this field school. Oh, she should have messaged me.
Should have.
Yeah, how rude.
How rude.
Yeah, rude. We even worked out trips to do every weekend during our stay. I mustered up a weak smile. Aww. It's understandable, can't be helped if it's family. Then it will be just being me. Tree gestured to the other person present to change the subject. Hello, person. Before I forget, let me introduce you to Professor Augustin Dupont. chief archaeologist from Cullen Cave. I eagerly extended my arm for a handshake. Everything I heard about Mr. DuPont was from Cherie, and she mentioned that he was a revered Belgian archaeologist. It's an honor to meet you. I'm Lisa Flores, a junior. Oh no. I look forward to seeing you next time. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, stop doing the voices. Stop saying names. Just read. Terrible.
You sure you don't want to read me bedtime story?
Come on.
This is going to take a while. Mr. DuPont spoke with a heavy French accent. See, I did it right.
No, you didn't. You went.
But I had no trouble comprehending it.
I could barely understand you.
Have you ever gone over everything with Cherie?
Stop mumbling.
That's how he says things.
Okay.
When students from Liège arrive tonight, they'll get their first lecture before dinner. Well, that's a bit rude. Just relax, okay? Yes, I'll still attend the lecture. If I was going to be submerged in the language, I might as well start by hanging out with the local students. Mr. DeWitt eyed my suitcase. Are you going to take it for me? It must have been a tiring trip. Come, we will show you around the back. Students will be spending the weekdays here. Oh. We reached a clearing and I spotted the same tent. Waves clustered around the perimeter against the bushes and a few were closer to the building. Feel free to pick one. These are for the students who don't own their own tents or air mattresses or couldn't bring them. Oh, thanks. I'm the biggest one. The chief archaeologist gave a nod, then excused himself. He probably had other matters to attend before the students arrived.
Probably.
I studied the tents next to the building and thought about my phone, which was still in the airplane mode. How's the Wi-Fi here? If you stay in that tent, you might get Wi-Fi. It doesn't extend much here in the back. If you brought a laptop, you can leave it in the laboratory. It's been done before. Everything gets locked up at night, though, for safekeeping. Fair enough. At least I can keep in touch with my parents. Once you finish, come back to the front and we'll give you a tour. We'll get to see the cave today. It's already locked, so you'll have to wait until morning. And the anticipation builds.
We get to go into a cave.
Yeah. I thanked her and started unpacking. There was already a mattress, pillow, a sleeping bag, and a place, and it only took a few minutes to settle in.
I hate camping.
Done. The only thing I don't like about it is the toilet situation. But everything else is fine.
And the bit about sleeping on the ground.
No, it's a blow-up mattress. That's fine.
And the bit about being outside.
That's fine because you're in tent.
Bugs.
You're in tent.
Everything about camping.
You're in tent.
Yeah, tents get hot.
Yeah, but that's why they have. That's why they have the fold-down bits.
Cool.
Grabbing a small storage bag, I zipped my tent and hurried over to the front of the building. Anyway, this is the main entrance. This will take you to the... She opened the drawer and my eyes widened and saw display after display. That's kind of cool. So it was a museum! And a remarkably tiny one. After one loop, I was already back to the entrance. I wanted to examine this displays more, but figured I'd have more free time later. Siri and I extended the stairs by the entrance.
What is that? Oh, never mind.
Too late.
Too late.
What was it?
The claw. It was just huge. It didn't look like anything we
It
know.
was a skull as well.
Yeah.
This room is more of a multi-purpose room. It can be used for lectures, and it's where findings are cleared if the weather isn't suitable outside. Cool. I cradled the storage bag, wondering how to bring up the question. Fortunately, Siri noticed. Something important in there? The extra insulin, I won't be using it. It needs to avoid extreme temperatures. Is there somewhere safe I can store it?
You've got diabetes.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Thank you for reminding me. Feel free to use the indoor kitchen since It's restricted to staff members. Augustine has granted you access since he knows you're diabetic. She led me to the back, giving me a chance to store the insulin bottles in the fridge.
Ooh.
And to conclude the tour, this is the lab. This is where most of the research takes place. Pretty.
Mm-hmm.
How many students will be here? If varies, there can be as many as 40 or as few as 20 students from Liège are required to devote at least 4 weeks working at an archaeological site, regardless of their major. Therefore, we may get a lot of music and art students too. The other students should be arriving soon. How's the jet lag? Not bad so far, a little fatigued but nothing else. I'm going to be up all night, aren't I? Worst case scenario, I'll give you an extra day to prepare yourself for the dig. You have reviewed the material I've given you, right? Yes, I've looked at it. Is there anything else you'd like to go over? It's been a month since my last lecture.
You get to choose
finally.
something.
Inquire about the Cohen Cave. How long have you been digging here? Go over itinerary. Go over field school grading system. Ask about Augustine.
Neanderthal or Neanderthal? How do you pronounce it? Is what that question
Yes,
is.
that's all.
What would you like to learn about? What are you interested in here?
Cave.
You want to go into the cave?
Oh, how no.
You don't care about her backstory, do you?
No, I sort of do, but
You do? Okay.
how long
She's
have you
good.
been digging here? How long have you been part of the team? Me, I started working with Augustine about 10 years ago. We go way back. That's how I established the Cohen Cave internship. Our university has developed a reputation for bringing over exceptional students. And it's just me this year. I hope I'm able to live up to expectations. I'm sure you'll do fine.
Ooh. What else would you like to know about?
I don't really care about the grading system. Should I ask about him?
Ooh.
Is Augustine easy to get along with? He seems friendly. He is for the most part, but he's like an overprotective father when it comes to the cave. He's been supervising it for over 2 decades and he's the leading expert. It's his baby. ... I'll be helping you, of course, and as far as I'm concerned, you're my student, not his. Any problems that come up, I'll discuss with you personally. Oh, nice. I meekly nodded, although now I was worried about making a mistake. After all, this was new to me. Okay, inquire about cave. Can you remind me about the site again? I know it's famous for discovering the remains of Neanderthal dating back to
125,000 years ago.
Correct. The site was established 2 Neanderthal occupants from different times.
I guess it's Neanderthal then.
Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about asking. This is mainly middle Paleolithic site with sediments ranging from 300,000 years old as recent as 4,000 years. Nice, I can't wait to discover the truth or something. If you do, it'll likely belong to the cave bear. Cave bear? Are those remains found often? Yes, 99% of all fauna animal remains collected are cave bears. I thought it was cut off.
No, fauna means...
Yeah, I know plants.
No, that's flora.
Flora. Yeah. Fauna is animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even so, I'm sure that's something. Not many people can say they dug up cave bear.
I like digging in the dirt with just my pick and brush. Finding fossils
Did I
is
go
my
itinerary?
aim, but I'm never in a rush. You choose what you want to
No,
do.
but did I?
No, but I don't know what that means.
What's the
schedule?
schedule? Yeah, exactly. How long does the dig go till? It's ongoing till the end of August and you'll be leaving at the end of next month, was it? Right, on a Saturday. I know only 4 weeks are required for the field school, but I thought I'll learn more if I stayed for 8. Dates aside, breakfast is served in the morning at 7:30. Cave and lab activities go from 8 to noon, and then there is an hour for lunch. Activities resume from 1 to 5. Dinner starts at 7. On the weekends, both students and
What are you looking at? Excavation.
Excavation tape leave for home. The cave and museum are locked up during this time. The back of the building will be accessible to you, of course. And if you prefer, you can sleep on the second floor if you don't like the idea of sleeping outside alone. Cool, I'll do that. Again, I'm sorry, it's just you. I usually get more students than this. I'll be okay on my own, promise. Oh,
You can just say that's all you know.
that's all. I think I'm good for now. Great, however, if any new questions come up, feel free to ask. We heard activity outside, complete with loud noises and footsteps on the gravel.
Who is
Sounds
it?
like the students from, what was it?
Liège.
Liège are here. Augustine will start the lecture soon. Huh? No chance to unpack or get ready or anything like that? No, all of the students were given instructions on when to arrive. Punctuality is valued greatly here. He'll lecture now and the students will settle in after. I'll be on my way. Oh gosh. People. Some students stood while others sat on the stone tiles in front of the building. A few leaned against their luggage, but they all formed a semicircle around Augustine. There were about 30 faces, and I wonder how the camping grounds would contain them all. They fell silent when Augustine began to speak. I'd prefer to sleep in the building if there's all these other people outside. Okay, although I picked up the keywords such as archaeology, grotte and sediment, much of it was lost to me. He repeated calcare a lot too.
You're not meant to understand these words. It's French.
Okay. His gestures were vibrant and I sensed the passion behind his voice. It got me looking forward to excavating tomorrow. Oh! Okay, Monday.
What are you going to do?
Nope. Socialise, study, browse internet, inquire, game. I think I'll study.
Okay, what are you going to do in the midday? Because morning, midday, and night. And now night?
Okay.
Oh, what are you going to do Tuesday morning?
Study.
Yeah?
Socialise and browse internet.
What are you going to do Wednesday morning?
Study.
Yeah?
Play catch.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay.
Study every morning.
Study, wake up, study.
Yeah, so
Study with breakfast.
you don't seem like a dumbass when you
Bacon
talk
and
to
books?
everyone else. Yeah.
Bacon and books.
Well, I guess sometimes study's better at night because you retain the information apparently a
I
little
don't
bit
know.
better.
No idea. I'm not having a go.
You have to social.
It's a lot of socialising you're doing.
Well, it's around lunchtime, so you sit with people and talk.
Ugh.
I guess inquire.
At night.
Yep. Get some rugby in. Game.
Ooh.
Study.
What can you do on the weekend? You can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends behind. Explore the town, the museum,
I think you can explore museum
and
first.
then explore the town at night or dance at night. You gonna dance?
Oh, this one changed. Oh no, that's just the weekend.
Yeah, both days. You only get one weekend.
Oh, I'm not going to dance, I'm going to explore the town. No,
Okay.
I should change it. No, museum won't be open up at night, would it?
Unless you break in, that's when everything's moving around, right?
Yeah, so museum has to be there.
Uh-huh.
I won't study, because that's the weekend.
It's the weekend. You can check your emails.
Yeah, I think emails. Emails museum town has that sound.
Sure.
Cool. Alright, now what do I do?
Click play.
Play. Your turn to read. My voice is hurting.
Your voice is hurting?
Go, week 1, Monday.
Like Sherry said, there was another lecture in the morning, complete with a whiteboard. Oh, you were good to choose study in the mornings because there's lectures in the mornings. Demonstrating how to use a trowel. It was all in French, and Sherry was kind enough to translate some key phrases or remind me that I've covered this with her before the trip. The students were divided, with one half, me included, head for the cave, while the other group would stay behind for lab work. We walked to the cave The walk to the cave was roughly 10 minutes, passing a narrow path in the sloped woods. The trickier sections had cement stairs installed with handles to prevent slipping.
Oh, that's
It's a
cool.
very fancy dig site.
Yeah.
When we reached an ordinary-looking shed, Augustine pulled down his keys. I realized that this was the cave entrance. The cave has a door and a lock. That's
Sweet.
nice. Or at least the artificial part of it, see? Once you're inside, please spread out so I can explain how to wet screen. He repeated the instructions in French as we filed through one by one. There was a raised counter in the middle with plastic containers suspended on wooden supports. So this is where the wet screening takes place. It looks like it can only fit 2 people at a time. I wonder how often it will be used. Do you know what wet screening is? Wet screening is when, say you found like a bit of a pot or a fossil, and you dig that bit out and you put plaster on it and put it aside. And then all the stuff around it, you take that dirt and you put it in a bucket. And then when you get back to the wet screening place, you put it all on like a sieve,
Yeah.
and then you wash it
Yeah.
and see if there's anything extra that you've missed.
Okay. Yeah.
So it washes out. You might find just rocks and stuff, but sometimes there's little bits of chip that you can go, I'll stick
A
that
little
back
bit
on.
of bone or something.
Yeah, or a little bit of pottery, you stick it back
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Augustine demonstrated by lowering an empty metal sieve into a plastic container, grabbing a hose, washing. Yeah. As much as I tried to pay attention, the language barrier tested my focus and my eyes started to wander. Okay, we're going to look at the posters, look down, or stay focused.
Stay focused. Jesus.
I did come here to learn, didn't I? French or not, I should show I'm serious about this. You can learn a lot from just watching.
Exactly. Obviously, he's like going through it.
And French are very...
So yeah. So you get
that's
the hang of it.
racist.
Yeah, you get the hang of it.
He's mentioning photographs a lot. Is someone coming to take pictures? No, because
No,
you
you
need
have to record it.
Exactly. And you put dates and what batch it's from. Everyone started to line up after Augustine gestured to each item, which ranged from stacks of buckets to plastic containers full of trowels and brushes. I followed and carried everything in my own bucket, including a sheet of paper encased in a plastic bag. The real entrance to the cave opened, leading to a narrow industrial catwalk suspended over the abyss. It looks like a picture on the wall.
It does.
Once I walked through, the temperature dropped to a cool chill and I zipped up my hoodie. Augustine directed the students to various locations while Cherie carefully slipped by and I followed.
Aw.
The cave opened up farther with numerous stalactites and stalagmites. Which one comes from where, do you know?
Well, yeah, one's roof, one's ground.
Well, I
isn't
know
it?
that, but I don't know which is which.
I know. Mites, grounds,
I don't know.
tights, up top.
I never learnt everywhere. The catwalk railing disappeared where the ladders connected or where it branched off into other segments of the cave. Cherie, where will I dig? Cherie leaned over the railing and pointed to one of the deeper parts. You'll be digging here. It is a 125,000-year-old layer, the very same one where they discovered the Neanderthal mandible. Out here somewhere. What? I'll be digging in such an important place already? It's okay, they already got the important stuff out, lady. Despite my nerves, I felt giddy inside. Cherie climbed down the ladder and I trailed behind her. At the bottom of the ladder was another catwalk, positioned exactly in the middle. Now that my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I noticed there were strings and cords hung everywhere in a specific pattern, with notes nailed to the soil. Cherie brought me to the end of the catwalk where there was yet another ladder, but this time much shorter. You'll be digging on the right side here. Here was a rather cozy looking pit, perfectly dug out square. 2 to 3 people could probably move around freely in the space. It was almost right under the main catwalk higher up too. This is your carré. Let's fly away, we're cabbages and kings. D32. Carré, D32. Carré means square. Everything is separated into a grid system, starting from the entrance of the cave, the uppermost left to right, it goes A1, B1, and so forth. That makes sense. Explains all the lines, taking from the ceiling too, that they're measuring. Correct. We shall take a closer look. The photographs for this row should be done already. I'll be right back. You can go ahead and set your items down. She retracted while I placed the bucket next to the shorter ladder. I descended, then grabbed the tools before I hopped off the last step. The layer I'd be working on was mostly dirt. The odd large rock sticking out here or there would be easy to dig. By the time Cherie returned, I had already had my knee pads out and the piece of paper next to me. Doesn't sound like a lot of work to have done. We are here. Here we are, picture of your square. She handed it to me. I could tell it was printed off the highest resolution possible, fully inked and glossy. What do we use this photograph for? First things first, we distinguished each layer and outlined it on the photograph. Once Augustine or myself check it over, you can go ahead and start excavating. The picture is an irreplaceable reference and you'll find yourself relying on it often. Please don't lose it or get it tarnished.
That's why you have a little baggie.
A little baggie. Sadly, Augustine is short-staffed at the moment. I'll be helping the other students since the most are new to this too. Is there anything you'd like to go over? Type of excavation, details regarding document paper, what to do once you find an artifact of bone, handling each layer. I'd like to know about that. So what do I do if I find a Neanderthal tooth? First, don't pluck it out like some amateur archaeologist. You'll lose the context. Measure it before you remove it. Number it and then carefully wrap it in tin foil. There will be a plastic bag you can use to store all of the findings. How do you number the findings? Just by the order you find it in. 1, 2, or 3. Jot it down on a piece of paper. Stick it in the tin foil as well so it won't get lost. When you finish excavating the entire layer, seal everything found into a plastic bag along with the completed fiche. Believe me, you'll feel relieved to finally finish a layer. Okay, I got it. I'm good, Cherie. Wonderful. I'll give you some time to get familiar with your square. If you're struggling, remember you can adjust the heat lamps. Also, the photographer's contrasts have been altered to help distinguish the sedimentary layers easily. I'll be back shortly. I glanced down at the photograph before comparing it to the vertical wall in front of me. No matter how closely I looked, everything was brown, 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 and more brown. How am I supposed to tell the difference of this brown layer from that brown layer? Not deterred, I picked up a pencil and began marking the more distinct sediments. Eventually it became less solid brown and I could see the reds of faint yellows. You look at it longer, you start to see patterns.
Exactly.
I was so focused that I barely registered that I was not alone anymore. A tall student stood by the square next to mine, already engaged in identifying the sediments.
And so you got a hearing aid.
Yes, he does have a hearing aid. I paid him no heed until I became stumped on whatever I was looking at, one layer or two. Quietly peering at his profile, he seemed rather familiar with the system. I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask him, or at least try to communicate. Can I get your opinion on something? ... Hello, bonjour. Still no reaction. I reached out and gave him a gentle tap on the shoulder. That's how you do it. Excuse-moi. The touch jolted him so abruptly that I retracted my hand. He whirled around and glared at me. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to... Oui, avengers besoin de quelque chose. Sorry, I don't speak French. Non parle nun. Oh, Angelus. He placed his photograph on top of his square. Did you need something? Yeah, actually, I'm trying to figure out the layers. Can't tell if this one... I gently traced the soil and then pretended to pinch the air to give the idea of width. Or two. It seems reddish at the top. He grabbed his trowel, giving the vibe of a serious, no-nonsense person. Once I shuffled out of the way, he examined the area and I'd indicated. 2. This stratum is more red, as you said, but gradually disappears around here. He etched a small line to mark the ending. I blinked as I recognized the differences, then nodded gratefully. Thanks so much. I mean, I sort of figured, but I wasn't sure either. It's nice to get a second opinion. I gave him a careful smile, but he remained... A cheerful smile. But he remained impassive. He didn't... Whoop.
You're too quick.
What did he seem? I'm Melissa. I'm one only foreign student here. if it wasn't obvious already with my language skills. Reluctantly, he switched the trowel to his left hand and gave a solid shake before letting. And we gave a solid shake before letting go. Kyler. And that was it. With nothing else to work from his introduction, I decided to bring up his skills. We met a boy while digging in the dirt.
Has he got consolation on his shirt?
Yeah, it looks like it. It's been a long time. We've been reading for a long time. It's time to end.
Okay.
We learnt about.
We're on week 1, Monday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think you're going to play this again?
Don't know.
No,
We'll
probably
see.
not.
But it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Oh, that's enough for today. I'll see you tomorrow.